Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Tips with Learn World. I'm your host, Ranitosh, and today we're diving deep into the world of English grammar. Whether you're a student, a content creator, or just someone looking to improve your English, today's episode is for you. We'll be exploring the different types of sentences, their structures, and how you can use them effectively in writing and speaking. Let's jump right into it.
Have you ever sent an email, maybe just had a quick chat, and later thought, did they really get what I meant?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Or you read something and it just clicks. It's crystal clear.
Right. And then the next article feels like wading through, mud.
Yeah, that feeling. It often comes down to the building blocks, doesn't it? Sentences.
Exactly. They're the key. And that's what we're diving into today. Welcome, everyone.
We're taking a really close look at English sentences.
Yep. Our mission is basically to unpack everything. What a sentence does, its purpose in communication.
And how it's actually built piece by piece. The structure.
Right. We want to help you understand the power behind different sentences so you can be a stronger communicator and, a more perceptive reader, too.
And we've got a great set of sources to help us. We've pulled from grammar guides like Grammarly, detailed notes on sentence structure, and also insights from places like Dear Sir, Easy Teaching, Persona's blog, CEL blog, Sky Grammar. Lots of good educational stuff.
So it's like a shortcut to getting really well informed on this.
Pretty much, yeah. It covers a lot of ground.
Okay, so let's kick things off with what sentences actually do, their function.
Think of them like tools in a toolbox. Different sentences for different jobs.
Jobs like stating things, asking questions.
Exactly. Stating, asking, commanding, expressing strong feelings, even making wishes or prayers. Each job has its own sentence type.
And getting that match right between what you want to say and the sentence type you choose, that's key, isn't it?
Absolutely crucial. So first up, maybe the most common type, declarative sentences.
Declarative, okay.
Their main job is just to, declare something, make a statement, give an explanation, convey facts. Simple as that.
These are like the workhorses of language.
They really are. They form the backbone of most writing and speaking. Think news reports, textbooks.
Anything just stating information, the sun rises in the east, that kind of thing.
Precisely. Or, my mom cooks delicious food. They just state something. And they always end with a period.
And our notes mention they can be positive, like they've arrived, or negative.
Right, like they haven't arrived yet. Still just stating the situation.
Got it. So after declaring, what's next? Asking.
Yep, interrogative sentences. Their function is super clear. Ask a question, get information.
Easy to spot, too, with the question mark at the end.
Always. And they usually start with those question words, who, what, where, when, why, how.
Or sometimes helper verbs, right? Like, are you coming?
Exactly. Or, may I sit here? Though, in casual speech, you might just hear the statement with a rising tone.
Oh, yeah, like, he went there again.
Right. It implies the question through tone, even if the structure looks declarative. But the core purpose is always seeking info.
Okay. Declarative interrogative. What about feelings?
That brings us to exclamatory sentences. These are all about expressing strong emotion, excitement, surprise, anger, joy, you name it.
And they get the exclamation mark.
They do. And with these, tone of voice in speaking is just huge. It carries so much of the emotional weight.
It really changes the meaning, doesn't it? Like your example, it's snowing versus it's snowing.
Totally different feeling. One's an observation, the other's excitement, or maybe even alarm.
And they can use interjections like wow or oh.
Like, oh, that's excellent. Or start with what or how to emphasize something. What a beautiful sunset, or how sweet of you.
Our sources did caution about using these too much in formal writing, though.
Good point. It can come across as overly dramatic if you overdo it. Save them for when you really mean it.
Makes sense. Okay, next type.
Imperative sentences. These are the ones that give directions. Advice, instructions, commands, requests.
So like, get off my lawn.
Yes, that's a classic command. Or something gentler like, please pass the salt. That's a request.
Or instructions like, after the timer dings, take the cookies out.
Exactly. They tell someone what to do. They can end in a period for a standard instruction or an exclamation point if it's more forceful or urgent.
And the subject, the you, is usually just left outright because it's understood.
Precisely. When I say close the door, I mean you close the door. It's implied. And the verb is always in the simple present tense.
Our notes mention positive ones like do this, negative ones like don't do that, and even conditional ones.
Right, like when you get home, call me. There's a condition attached to the command. It's about guiding action.
Okay, so we have declare, ask, exclaim, command. Is that all?
There's one more, a bit less common in everyday quick chat, but still important. Optative sentences.
Optative. What do those do?
They express things like curses, blessings, prayers, or wishes.
Ah, like, may God bless you.
Exactly, or wish you all the best. Or even, in older texts, things like long live the queen. They state a hope or desire.
So not something you yell across the street maybe, but definitely part of how we communicate hopes.
For sure. And understanding all 5 of these, declarative, interrogative, exclamatory, imperative, optative, it really gives you control.
Control over your tone, your intent.
Yeah, you can consciously pick the right tool for the job, whether you're writing a formal report or just texting a friend. Makes communication much more effective.
Okay, that covers the functions, what sentences do, but what about how they're actually put together, the structure?
Right, the building blocks. That's our next big piece. Sentence structure is all about the grammatical arrangement of words, how it looks, how it sounds.
And then the absolute basics. What does every sentence need?
At a bare minimum, every English sentence needs a subject, who or what the sentence is about, and a verb, which is the action or state of being.
Like birds fly. Subject dot, birds, verb dot fly.
Exactly. Can't get simpler than that. That's the core. Anything less isn't a full sentence. It's what we call a fragment.
But most sentences have more going on than just that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We often have an object, the noun or pronoun, that receives the action of the verb.
Okay, so if the subject does the action, the object receives it.
You got it. There are direct objects, like in Harry bought a car. Car directly receives the action of buying. And indirect objects, think Hannah gave Kirthana a cake. The cake is the direct object, that's what was given. Kirthana is the indirect object, she's the recipient.
Okay, so the indirect object often tells us to whom or for whom the action is done.
Exactly. Then we have complements. These are words needed to complete the meaning, especially after verbs like be, seem, become.
Like, he is a dentist. A dentist completes the meaning of he is.
Perfect example. It tells you what he is. Or they made her angry. Angry describes her state after the action. Complements complete the idea about the subject or sometimes the object.
Got it. And the last piece you mentioned was adjuncts.
Adjuncts, yes. These are kind of like optional extras. They give more information about the action, answering questions like when, where, why, or how. Often adverbs or adverb phrases.
So they add context. Like in yesterday we met at the park.
Precisely. Yesterday tells you when, at the park tells you where. The core sentence, we met, makes sense on its own, but the adjuncts add detail, flavor.
And they can move around.
They're pretty flexible, yeah. Beginning, middle, end of a sentence. You could even have multiple adjuncts. They add richness without being structurally essential.
Okay, so subject, verb, object, complement, adjunct. Those are the main ingredients.
Those are the key components, yes.
Now, how do these ingredients combine to make different types of sentence structures? Let's start simple.
Okay, the most basic structure is the simple sentence. It consists of just one independent clause.
One independent clause, meaning it has a subject and verb and expresses a complete thought all by itself.
Exactly. It stands alone. It's the smallest grammatically complete sentence unit.
Like, she built a garden. Or even something like, how are you? That's simple too.
Yep. Still one independent clause asking a question. Simple sentences can be short, or they can be longer with compound subjects or verbs.
Like, Navya, Daya, and Priya are going to Thailand. Multiple subjects, but still one core idea, one clause.
That's it. Or Jake was singing and dancing. One subject, two verbs, but still one independent clause expressing what Jake was doing.
Okay, so that's simple. What makes a sentence complex?
Well, a complex sentence has one independent clause, remember? That's the one that can stand alone, plus at least one dependent clause.
Dependent clause. That's the one that can't stand alone, right? It needs the main clause to make sense.
Correct. It often starts with words like because, since, although, when, if, while, or relative pronouns like who, which, that.
So like, take off your shoes is independent, but before you enter my house is dependent. Put them together.
Before you enter my house, take off your shoes. That's a complex sentence. The dependent clause adds information to the main idea.
And punctuation matters here, right? The comma.
Good point. If the dependent clause comes first, like in that example, you usually put a comma after it.
Okay.
If the independent clause comes first, like take off your shoes before you enter my house, you often don't need the comma.
Got it. Simple, complex. What about compound sentences?
Compound sentences join two or more independent clauses together. Think of it as connecting two or more simple sentences that are related in thought.
So both parts could stand alone as complete sentences.
Exactly. They're linked together, usually with a comma and a coordinating conjunction. You might know the acronym MBOYS.
For, and, nor but, or yet so.
Those are the ones. Or you can use a semicolon or sometimes even colon.
Like, I was thirsty, so I drank water. Two independent ideas. I was thirsty, I drank water. Linked by so.
Perfect. Or she searched her closet, she couldn't find her jacket. Linked by a semicolon. You can test it, replace the conjunction or semicolon with a period. If you get two valid sentences, it's compound.
Okay, that makes sense. Simple, complex, compound. There's one more, right? The combination.
Yes, the grand finale.
Yeah.
The compound complex sentence. As the name suggests, it mixes compound and complex structures.
So, multiple independent clauses and at least one dependent clause.
You nailed it. It has two or more independent clauses plus one or more dependent clauses. These can get quite long and convey a lot of information.
Wow. Can you give an example?
Sure. I needed a new computer, so I got a laptop because they're portable.
Let's break that down. I needed a new computer, independent.
Yeah.
So I got a laptop, also independent, joined by so.
Right. That makes it compound so far.
Because they're portable. That's dependent. It explains why.
Exactly. So you've got two independent clauses and one dependent clause. That makes it compound complex.
That really shows how you can layer ideas. Understanding these structures seems super important for writing clearly, especially with complex topics.
It really is. It helps you create variety, avoid short, choppy sentences all the time, or conversely, avoid run-on sentences that never seem to end. It adds sophistication.
And English has typical patterns for these structures too, right? Like SVO, subject, verb, object.
Yes, there are common patterns like SV, subject, verb, SVO, subject, verb, object, SVC, subject, verb, complement, SEA, subject, verb, adjunct, and more complex ones involving multiple objects or adjuncts. Recognizing these helps both in constructing sentences and in understanding them.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot, what sentences do, their function, and how they're built, their structure. Now, let's really connect this back. Why does all this matter to you, the listener?
Well, think about it. Everything you say, ask, command, wish, it's all done through sentences. This isn't just abstract grammar. It's the literal fabric of your daily communication.
Understanding it is like understanding the code behind how we interact.
Exactly. And here's something really powerful. Remember we talked about grammar rules for things like tenses, active, passive voice, reported speech? Our sources estimate that something like 70–80% of those rules primarily apply to just two sentence types: declarative and interrogative.
Wow, really? That much?
Yeah. So if you don't recognize the type of sentence you're dealing with, it's much harder to apply the right grammar rules to it correctly. It's like trying to fix an engine without knowing if it's gasoline or diesel. Identifying the sentence type is often the first crucial step.
That's a huge insight. Knowing the sentence type unlocks the correct application of tons of other grammar rules.
It really is grammar's superpower,
Yeah.
in a way. And beyond just correctness, mastering these types and structures gives you flexibility.
Flexibility how?
You can write or speak with variety and rhythm. Avoid sounding monotonous. You can precisely match your tone, make a command sound urgent or polite, make a statement sound factual or emotional.
So it improves clarity and expression.
Definitely. Think back to that confusing email. Was it maybe a poorly structured complex sentence that lost its way? Or that really persuasive argument you heard? Did it skillfully use imperatives for calls to action and declaratives for evidence?
When you understand the building blocks, you can see how communication works or why it sometimes breaks down. It gives you that analytical lens.
You have the tools to diagnose issues and construct better messages yourself.
So how can people practice this? Make it stick.
Start simple. One great tip is to read sentences aloud. Your ear can often catch awkward phrasing or lack of clarity that your eyes might miss.
Good idea, hearing the flow.
And pay attention to punctuation. Commas, periods, question marks, exclamation points, they aren't just decorations. They define boundaries, signal intent, and make things readable. Use them wisely.
And practice, I assume.
Absolutely. Daily practice. Try this. Take a simple sentence like, the cat slept. Now, try expanding it. Make it compound. The cat slept and the dog watched. Make it complex. Because it was warm, the cat slept. Make it compound complex. Because it was warm, the cat slept soundly, but the dog remained alert.
Ooh, I like that. Deliberately playing with the
It
structures.
builds that mental muscle. It cements the understanding and makes choosing the right structure feel more intuitive over time.
It really sounds like it could make a tangible difference in how you approach writing and even speaking.
It does. Language becomes less of a mystery and more of a toolkit you can use with confidence.
Okay, so let's recap. We've taken a deep dive into the world of sentences today. We explored their core functions: declaring, asking, exclaiming, commanding, wishing.
And we unpack their structures: simple, compound, complex, and the combination, compound, complex, looking at the key components like subjects, verbs, objects, complements, and adjuncts.
Hopefully you, our listeners, feel more confident now in spotting these different types and understanding how they're built, recognizing that every single conversation, every article, every book is constructed from these fundamental units.
You really do have a new lens now, a way to look at language, both when you're receiving it and when you're creating it, to understand the how and why behind the message.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. The next time you sit down to write something important, an email, a report, maybe even just a meaningful text, or prepare for a presentation or a crucial conversation, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to communicate here?
And then consider, what sentence structure will help me communicate that most clearly, most effectively?
The answer, we hope, will now be a little clearer, guiding you towards crafting the perfect sentence for your purpose.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Tips with Learn World. I hope you now feel more confident using different sentence types and structures in your writing and speaking. Remember, mastering English doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice, observation, and curiosity. If you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Got questions or want a part 2? Drop a comment or reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and stay curious. This is Ranatosh, signing off. Goodbye.